You're listening to Mortgage Lending Mastery. Get the knowledge you need to advance your mortgage practice quickly and efficiently from Jen Duplessis, America's mortgage mastery mentor with over 37 years of experience and over $1 billion in lifetime fundings. Jen has been mentoring loan officers and realtors for over 15 years and speaking on stages across the globe. So settle in and get ready as Jen and her guests share their experience, passion, and strategies to help you crack the top producer code to reach new heights in your business. And now, here's your host, Jen Duplessis, Mortgage Mastery Mentor and head chick in charge of Kinetic Spark Consulting.
Hello and welcome back to this episode. Today, my guest is known as the Badass Direct Sales Master. And I don't even know if you know that you call yourself that, but I'd like to introduce Jennie Bellinger to the show. Welcome to the show, Jennie.
Thanks for having me, Jen. I so appreciate it.
Yeah,
I love
of
being
course.
here.
Of course. I love sharing, on occasion, like how we meet, so often in podcasting, we meet through, some service or, maybe we're speaking on stages together, but you and I had the opportunity to meet on the Marketers Cruise, which I think is so fun. So we'll have some information on the link below here as well in the show notes on the Marketers Cruise if you have interest in going to that as well. Because it's 450 of us getting together. And as Captain Lou always says, the best ships are friendships, right?
Yes.
He says that all the time. So I'm really excited to have you here today. And, being the direct sale, being a direct sales mastery person, I think one of the things that people want to hear is what exactly is direct sales. But before we get to that, because I do want to talk about, I know what direct sales is, but some people may think it's a multimedia, multi-level marketing. Some may say it's, who knows? So I want your definition of it.
Sure.
But before we get into that, what makes you the expert in this field?
Absolutely. So I've been in the industry since 2010. I ran a business in the direct sales industry for 7 full years of my own. And actually during that time earned 9 trips, multiple car bonuses, cash bonuses with commas in them. And the thing that I'm most proud of is that my team ended up being number 1 in the world in group growth and number 3 in the world in group sales. And that all happened in the same year, in the same convention, which is really unusual. Most teams will only hit one or the other, but not both. So my amazing team did a great job with that. So, and I've been in the industry and I do work with people who are in direct sales. I work with people who are in network marketing, and I work with people who are in multi-level marketing, because those are actually 3 different definitions within a similar industry.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's always a fun conversation to have to try and explain those to people.
Yeah, I know. Well, because I think it's just up for interpretation. It's aircraft, airplane, plane, it's all the same thing, right? But everybody uses different words, that are associated with that. And I know that one of the things that you really focus on is helping sales, generally for people, team building, right? This is something that I work on quite a bit, is team building and leadership as well. But in direct sales, it's a little different because that leadership grows, or that team grows as they sell. The type of, team building and leadership I do is that I'm growing and I'm hiring people to support me, right? There's a little bit of a difference there. Yeah. But, I think that, in industry as a whole, and I love talking about this topic. I'm going to give you a couple of examples, and then maybe you can speak to this, because I know you've got a portion of what you talk about, which is no product, no puking pitch, nothing, right? Show up and throw up. And this is so common for salespeople, business people, entrepreneurs, is that it's all about me. It's all about that. And so when we talk about networking, one of the things that drives me nuts more than anything is when we get on a call, hi, I want to have a meeting with you to get to know you and see how I can help your business. And then the first thing out of their mouth is pitching to me. And that's, malpractice in my opinion, but don't pitch me without knowing what I need or what I think I need. I don't even know if I need. So tell us a little bit about networking. Let's not talk about the sales presentation itself, but a little bit about networking, because who are you with, by the way? I better say who it is before I start.
Yeah. The company that I was active with for 7 years is Park Lane Jewelry.
Okay, got it.
I was with them through 2017. And then when I went full-time coaching that year, I stepped away from my team because I knew that this was my calling. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. The reason why I say that is I always use the example of Mary Kay. Yeah. I just want to make sure I wasn't hurting anybody. So, whenever I go to networking and there's a Mary Kay lady there or something similar, all they want is, hey, you want to have a party? You want to have a party? Let's have a party. You want to have a party? Here's a sample. Do you want to have a party? It, can you imagine what I do now is like, hey, do you want to buy my coaching? It's 30 grand. You want to buy my coaching? Come on, buy my coaching. It's 30 grand. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on.
Yeah.
Right. Or when I was in lending, imagine going up and say, hey, give me your credit score or your credit report. Come on, come on, come on. Give me your social security number. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. And it just seems really funny in that context, but it's no different. And it's one of the things, that I call them skunks, right?
Mm-hmm.
People like that who come to market or come to networking are skunks. You're just like, ooh, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then there are the squirrels, right? The squirrels that just gather business cards because they're going to drive you nuts afterwards, right? They're gatherers of nuts. So talk to us a little bit about your perspective on networking for the person who's listening here, who's a salesperson, an entrepreneur. What do they need to know about networking first?
It's all about relationship, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's when you're going out and trying to treat a networking event like you're a poker dealer and you're throwing your cards out as quickly as you possibly can, or trying to sell to people right there in the room, it's never going to work because everyone else there, no one shows up to a networking event going, I'm going to buy from somebody today.
Right.
Nobody does that.
Right.
People show up because they're all trying to sell to each other. So
right. That's the thing.
The really effective networkers, though, are the ones who show up and say, let me get to know you. What do you do? Who do you serve? And how can I connect you to maybe someone else who's here in the room who I know? Or I can connect you to someone in my network who might be a good fit for you, either by client or because they work with a similar type of client. Because I've been networking since 2011. And for me, I'm always trying to find the golden geese for other people because sorry, but I don't want to try and find everybody their clients. That's a lot of freaking work. But if I can introduce them to somebody who has a whole slew of that person's clients in their network, and vice versa, heck yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to put the two of them together and say, hey, you guys go have fun working together. And, and so networking should really be about building the relationship, getting to know people, asking questions, be insanely curious about the other person sitting next to you, or standing next to you at the bar, or at the cocktail table or the appetizer table, wherever you happen to be, if it's a happy hour networking event, right? So just get insanely curious about people and see how that changes your networking life, because it just, people become more attracted to you because you are interesting, because you are interested.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've heard that before. So why do people not do that? Why? I mean, if everybody knows, be more curious, be more interesting, and, be interested in other people. Why is it? Because I hear it all the time. I hear, oh yeah, I don't do networking because I didn't make any money. I didn't get any business from it. And I always say, look, you're not there to get business. You're there to identify potential partners that you then can get business from, or they can, as you said, in the case of the golden geese, they can refer you to somebody who's a fishing pole, and then you have a fleet of fishermen looking for you. So what do you say to that person? Do you have a technique? Do you have a strategy that, hey, right before I walk in, and take a deep breath and go, it's not about me, right? What is
Right.
it I should be
Yeah.
doing, to trigger myself as
Yeah.
I'm walking in the door?
It for me, what I do is I set a goal for how many connections I'm going to make.
Mm-hmm.
And that to me, it could be a connection for myself. It could be a connection for other people there in the room. Because whenever I go to a networking event, I try and do my homework beforehand and say, I reach out to the person who's organizing it and I ask them who's going to be there.
Yeah.
Who do they know is coming? And so that way I am hopefully showing up ready to meet some new people, but also know that there's going to be some people who I've met before at other events or maybe at the
Mm-hmm.
same event last quarter or last year, to reconnect with them. So I'm setting that goal to say, okay, I want to make 5 connections today. So introducing two other people who don't know each other, who might need to know each other. But then I also set the goal to go in and help the host of the networking event. How can I help them
Mm-hmm.
put on a great event? And what do they need? Because oftentimes, you know, people are asking of things of that host. And I'm saying, what can I take off your plate so you can go be the host you want to be? So I show up to serve. And then from that, it ends up bringing me more connections, because then the host is like, oh my gosh, that Jennie
Did you
Bellinger,
meet
she,
so and so? Did you meet so and so? I need to introduce you. Yeah, yeah,
right.
totally. I totally get that. Yeah. I think that's really powerful. And I think, if I mean, intention's everything. I have a card in front of me every day that says intention is everything. And so if you go in saying, look, I want to make 3 connections, either I'm going to connect 3 people, I'm going to connect, they're going to connect me with people. I want to make those connections. And it's not about, the opportunity. And you may stumble across one, and that's a win. That's just a bonus rather than, going there to actually do that. Okay. So let's say, so we went to this event and we got a couple connections, and now we need to follow up.
Well, let's first
Ah,
address the elephant in the room that very, very few people do the
oh,
follow-up after the networking event.
yeah.
And really, when every time they do that, they are literally leaving money on the table by
Mm-hmm.
not doing the follow-up or follow through. So one of the things that I do when I know when I put in my calendar that I'm going to a networking event. So,
Mm-hmm.
maybe
Yeah.
next Thursday, I've got a networking event in my calendar. Then what I'm doing is I'm also putting in on Friday morning
White
1
space.
hour of
Yeah.
follow-up time to
Mm-hmm.
reach out to the people that I connected with and say, it was really nice to meet you yesterday at fill in the blank event. I have templates written for emails, text messages, and Facebook messages and LinkedIn messages. So I don't have to write this follow-up thing every time totally fresh. I just, you know,
Yeah.
insert their, the networking event,
Mm-hmm.
insert what we talked about, that I remember from them. So I have a CRM that when I get out to my car, I talk into the CRM and my phone and say, here's who I met, here's
Yeah.
what we talked about, here's what I remember about them. So that way the next day I'm not trying to pull from memory, because goodness knows the older I get, the less
Right.
reliable that memory is.
Right.
But I do
Right.
put that follow-up time in to reconnect with them and say, hey, I really enjoyed talking with you, and I would love to go have coffee or a lunch, or if you'd like to hop on a virtual coffee sometime, let's reconnect and see how we can help each other
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, it's simple stuff. And I think most of us know this, that if it's not working, you have to look and, increase the awareness. You have to look at yourself in the mirror and say, okay, what's not working about it? There's something that's not working. And I want, our listener to know that it's not you. It's the strategy behind you, and that is one of the things that we say is, like, oh, what's wrong with me? It's not what's wrong with me. It's probably what's wrong with what I'm doing. And and I think that's super important. So okay, so you talk about the listener gift. I want to hear a little bit about the listener gift. We know about the 2 ears and 1 mouth, but What is the listener gift that might be a strategy for people?
Yeah. Well, as you were mentioning, oftentimes when people show up to networking events, they end up sitting there puking their product all
Mhm.
over everybody around them or
Mhm.
puking their service, just literally all they can talk about is themselves and their product. And so, you
Right.
know, one of the one of the reasons why my team got to be number one in group growth and number three in group sales in the world was because I taught them to quit puking product everywhere.
Yeah.
You've got to number one, make that connection, and number two, then create some curiosity so that people actually want to know more about you and more about what you do and what product you do have or what service you do have. So I ended up creating a little mini course for people. It
Mhm.
takes less than 20 minutes to watch. It's a video course, and we also have some handouts that go along with it, so that way people can actually go through and create ways, like you said, create processes and systems, change the behavior, change the words that they're saying, change the way that they're thinking about networking to actually learn how to pitch themselves without puking product everywhere. So it's called the No Product Puking Pitch Mini Course, which is a bit of a mouthful to
I
say.
know it is. It's like a Peter Piper picked a peck of pebble, whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah. When you put these things together, they're always like, alliteration is so
Oh
great. I'm
yeah, it's
like,
really
apparently
good.
not with
It's really good.
peas.
Yeah. 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 I love it. I love it. Yeah. And I think that that's, something that's really important to do. What kind of results have your students had by just changing the mindset? One, it's mindset, and then two, and I always say mindset plus mechanics equals momentum. But if we have to change that mindset, and then we have to learn some mechanics on what questions to ask, how to be interested, those types of things. What kind of results are people getting when working with you and changing this?
Yeah. So my clients, depending on what their focus is, whether it's increasing sales,
Mhm.
knowing how to grow their sales on a monthly or quarterly basis, are getting anywhere from 17 to 88% increases in their sales. I have other clients who their focus is like, well, I'm pretty much selling as much as I really personally can in my direct sales, network marketing, or MLM business. I'm at the point where I need to start growing a team. So I'm working with them on how to grow a team of other people who do what they do. And so I've had clients who have gone from two or three people on their team, and then they are growing organically. And as they learn how to really have those types of conversations, because a recruiting conversation, a sponsoring conversation, either
Right.
one of those, that different companies use different terminology, is really the same as the same kind of conversation you're going to have about the product that you sell, whether it's skincare, lipstick, jewelry, whatever. It's just now you're having conversation, you're marketing and selling the business opportunity. And so my clients have ended up growing by 10 and 12 people in a month on their own personal team. And then we're working with them to help teach their team members to grow. So they're
Right.
going from two and three people on their team to growing to 50, 75, 100 in their entire organization in the course of a year or two.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. So if someone's not in, multi-level marketing, isn't in, my podcast, one of my podcasts is called Mortgage Lending Mastery, which is MLM, which is hilarious. I didn't think about that when I put it together. Right. And it's been 10 years, so I don't care
Oops.
anymore. But yeah, we call it MLM internally, but and I have to remember what it stands for other people. But multi-level marketing, network marketing, where you're selling other people's stuff, or affiliate marketing, those types of things. What do you offer for people who aren't in any of those modalities, but are just a salesperson? Just says, look, I just want to enhance my sales skills. Can this no product? I can tell you it will help loan officers. It will help realtors because that's all I hear. But no product, puking, no product puking pitch mini course. Thank goodness it's written here for me. I feel like a lot of people need that in that industry too. And look, I think everybody needs it. Like I said, I get calls constantly of, I want to meet with you. And then it's just pitching me constantly. So it's regardless of product, it might be service pitching. What are you doing for them? Or can they get involved with you? Or are you just honed in on direct sales?
I do primarily work with people who are in direct sales, network marketing, and MLM. But every once in a while, if there is a good fit based on what they want to create in their life, because I don't exclude those people, but I do have a conversation because I know that there are other people out there. I know that there are other coaches who are probably a better fit for realtors because that's a slightly different discussion than necessarily, somebody who's selling jewelry or kitchen products or something of that nature. But there are some, what's interesting is there are some real estate companies that are starting to come out now, and they are doing a network marketing and multi-level marketing model.
Yeah, they
And
are. Yeah.
so,
Yeah. Several.
yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah, so I've been having conversations with some of those types of companies to say, hey, I've been helping people sell like lipstick $50,
Yeah.
20, $50 at a time. It's the same process to increase sales, to grow a
Oh,
team.
no
And how do
question.
you train them? How do you lead them? Because leadership in direct sales and network marketing is very different from the type of leadership that you are probably working on with people who are hiring. Because in the world of direct sales and network marketing, that leadership conversation is you're leading a volunteer army. They don't have to do anything you say because they're not losing their job if they don't do the
Right.
thing. Now, they may not make as much money, their business may not grow as fast, but that's their choice, their business. So how do you lead a group of people who don't have to follow you?
Yeah.
When you can learn those leadership skills and get to the point where you've got people who don't have to follow you, but they choose to, that is where insane empires are built.
Yeah.
Is with those kinds of leaders who figure out how to lead a volunteer army of people who want the
Right.
success that leader is attaining.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like you said, it's all applicable. And I think, for me, in the context of what we're talking about, it has a lot to do with marketing. I mean, networking, because that is a type of sales, right? There's no question about it. So it's sales mastery, regardless of direct sales or whatever it is, it's commission sales mastery. And I think that, that's probably one of the biggest things that people are going to take from this particular podcast is, hey, I need to change the tune. If I'm going to meet more people, if I'm going to expand my business, regardless of what I do, I need to get better at being curious about other people and serving other people. And then I can talk to them about my product or my service, when I have an opportunity later on. I think that's good for anybody in business because nobody wants to be a skunk.
Right. No,
The one that
exactly.
everybody avoids.
Yeah, and I think that when people do avoid the networking events, it's because they don't want to do those things, but they don't know what to do instead.
I know.
And
Yeah.
and so there are plenty of podcasts out there. There are plenty of books out there. There are online courses out there if people want to know how to get better at networking. And, frankly, there are organizations, I'm a part of one that literally includes education about how to network effectively on a regular basis. I mean, I've been a member of this networking organization since 2011, and I really attribute the education that they provided in my success, because otherwise I probably would have been that poker dealer at the networking event, getting out my card to as many different people as I possibly can.
Yeah.
And I learned not to do that through that. So there is lots of education out there. People just have to choose to seek to educate themselves.
Well, to want to
effective
improve
networking.
Yeah. And to want to improve themselves, I think that's part of it too and anybody who's listening to a podcast is looking for that self-improvement. That's what I love about podcasters, is that, the others don't take the time. They never listen. They don't take the time to learn. And, and I think that's super incredible. So, obviously we will have a link so that someone can take the class. And I would encourage everybody, I don't, it doesn't matter what you do. I would encourage everyone to go and grab that class, and we'll have that link in the notes. And then, how do people get directly in touch with you if they want to just have a conversation with you? What's the best way? I know you're all over social, et cetera, but what is the best way?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The best way is to go to talkwithjennieb.com. So that's talk with Jennie, JENNIE, B as in Bellinger.com. And they can book a time to have a quick chat. And if they're like, hey, this sounds like something I'd like to learn more about, that's a great way to get in touch with me.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, what would you like to leave us with from a sales perspective, a sales quote, your mantra? What would you like to leave us with today?
Oh, that's a great question. I think it really goes back to really put the other person first. I mean, there are plenty of times when I had jewelry clients come to me. Some of my best clients come to me and they said, hey, I'm really looking for this particular style of jewelry or this. And I knew that my company didn't have it. I introduced them to people who were with other companies that I knew had that style of jewelry. I took care of what my customer wanted, even if it meant that I wasn't necessarily going to benefit from it. And that ended up coming back to me positively, because then the next time they wanted, some new jewelry for a wedding they were going to or whatever, they reached out to me and said, hey, here's my outfit, pick something out, send me the bill, because you took care of me when I wanted a very specific thing. And when you make your customer first, regardless, I mean, we all learned this from Miracle on 34th Street, Miracle on 34th Street, when Santa Claus recommended the other store, right? It that still is true today. Take care of the customer, what they need, and trust me, it will come back to you.
Yeah. And hopefully the person you're sending them to remembers that, and they send their customers back your way, right? That's what this is all about. Yeah. And, it's not missing that other part of that, is yes, my customer will come back, but maybe the person I sent that business to, they will come to me for another reason, or send a client to me. So I love that. Make sure you put your customer first. So thank you so much, Jennie, for being with us here today. We absolutely I loved it. I always learned something. I love that, I love the listening, the listening piece of it. And I I mean, I say it all the time. I probably won't always say it. It's your line, but no product puking presentation course, right? I don't know. Product puking. So we appreciate you being here, and I wish you all kinds of success. Thanks so much for taking time to be on our show. It means a lot to us.
Oh, no. Thank you very much for having me. I love these kinds of conversations and helping people really shift their thinking on sales and networking.
Yep, that's exactly what it's all about. Thank you so much. And thank you for listening in and taking time out of your day to learn something new. Now go put it in action. If you have a networking event coming up, or you're going to be doing something virtually, be sure that you're going there with the intent of serving the other person first. Put your customer first, put those referral partners first, and help them, and have that. I love that you said insane curiosity to find out how you can serve them. And in doing so, you will be served as well. So with that, we'll catch you on the next episode.
Thanks for listening to Mortgage Lending Mastery. Be sure to subscribe to hear more sales tips, ideas, strategies, and tactics to help you with your personal and professional growth to multiply your results in record time. And if you like what we're doing, don't forget to give us a rating and review so we can continue to bring you the best content possible. Wanting more beyond the podcast? Join our Mortgage Lending Mastery membership community, where you will find extended interviews with our favorite guests, weekly training, tips, and insider secrets, fireside chats with Jen, free content, meet, share, and collaborate with other members, and so much more. Click the link in the show notes to learn more about this exclusive content. Mortgage Lending Mastery is an Industry Syndicate charter podcast. Industry Syndicate is the first podcast network specifically for the mortgage and real estate industries. Get the Industry Syndicate app in the App Store or Google Play today.